Hello, Gigglers.
Welcome to Giggles and Glutes. I'm Zoe, joined by Donaé, and today we'll be talking about how to build a balanced plate for fat loss or muscle gain. Have you ever tried to eat healthy but still felt like stuck and unable to see results? Then it's probably an issue with your meal prep and not so much as what you are eating, but the balance of your plate. And today we want to make sure that even if you are tracking your macros or watching what you eat, sometimes something else could be off.
I think that this is something that a lot of people don't really get is I've been eating healthy, I've been like watching all of these videos, I've been meal prepping, but it's just not working. And I think to clarify the fact that you actually need to understand what you are eating and understand that we do eat for purpose, especially when you have a goal in mind, whether it's gaining muscle or losing fat, whatever is on your plate is going to contribute massively to your results. I don't know if you're familiar with the 80-20 rule. People normally apply this to relationships, but we're going to apply this to fitness because it's more fitting. But the 80-20 rule is basically that 80% of your goal and your results are made in the kitchen, and the 20% of it is actually made in the gym. So 80% outweighs 20% by far, as we know. I don't need science to explain that to you guys, but understanding the importance of what is on your plate. So we're just going to go through a couple of things on how you can actually just understand what to put on your plate, really. Yeah. Before we get into that, there's a lot of fad diets, as we know, that go around, things that are trending, and then like you need to eat this, don't eat this. And I think that as somebody who is new to the fitness industry and this journey, it can be very overwhelming when you open your Instagram and then this person's telling you apples are bad for you or you need to have this special hot water with cinnamon in the morning and it's going to help you lose weight and all of these things. But before any of that, I think people need to take the time to do a sort of a self-study, read up on the benefits of proteins, carbs, and fats, understand how much of this you need. Because once you understand what the components are for all of these things, which ties into all our previous episodes, if you guys have missed it, you can go back to our YouTube channel and go and watch these videos again, just to understand a little bit more about your macros and your micros, and just sort of understand what you are putting on your plate and how exactly this can fuel your body.
Yeah. And also, we want to teach sustainable habits. We are here to give you the information so that you understand what you need to do and not just give you instructions and say, this is what you need to do. We want you to go on this journey with yourself for understanding, because once you have understanding, it's easier to form habits and it's easier to create sustainability and make sure that this becomes a lifestyle. Healthy eating shouldn't be a means to an end. It shouldn't be, I'm eating healthy to lose weight. It should be because you want your body to function better, because you want to have a longer life, because you want to see your kids play. Whatever your why is, there should be a tool to accomplish your why.
Yeah, that's very beautifully said, actually. So we're going to run through the macros of every meal and how they support you. So proteins, as we know, builds and repairs muscles. It also helps to keep you full and burns more energy to digest. So protein is very important along with everything else. So examples of protein would be like lean meats, chicken, eggs, tofu, Greek yogurt. The list is very lengthy. Fish, protein powders, all of these things. So when you are thinking about your meal and what to meal prep, these are the types of proteins that you would possibly want to have on your plate. And then the second macros is our carbs, and this is your body's preferred energy source. Your body loves carbohydrates. So if you've ever felt that you were crashing and your energy was low, that's probably because you are having too little carbs, or you've decided, genius, I'm going to cut it out because like, why do I need energy? Put that carbs back on your plate, please. And this is one of the macros as well. And then this also helps you with your recovery. And then your fats are essential for your hormone health, your brain function, and absorbing the vitamins that you are putting into your body as well. And by fats, we're talking about olive oils, nuts, seeds, avocado, all the good fats. I know that some people, when they hear the word fats must be on their plate, they like also run for the hills. But the thing is that if your plate is not balanced, you're basically heading towards malnutrition because you're not eating
Yeah.
properly. You are not giving your body every single aspect that it needs and every single thing that it needs. If you think about it, did you ever buy a piece of furniture that you had to assemble and you're like, oh, there's this tiny little screw. I don't know where this tiny screw goes. And you put this thing together and there's a little bit of a wobble. It's off because that tiny little screw is actually important. So think of your plate like this. Every tiny little thing that you are adding on your plate is important together and as a singular as well. And then there's also your fiber and your micros, which also supports your digestion, your gut health, your immune function, and also adds to the feeling of feeling full. And this is our greens, our peppers, our broccolis, our berries. Okay, so if we're looking at your plate and you're not sure what exactly it should look like, this is a perfect example of what your plate should look like. So it has 30 to 40% of lean proteins, 30 to 40% of complex carbs, and then 10 to 15% of healthy fats, and then a big handful of colorful veggies. So going back to what we just went through, so 30 to 40% of your lean proteins is all the things that I've just mentioned, and these are the types of proteins that are going to fuel you. Obviously, depending on the time of day, we like eggs in the morning. We're not going to eat eggs for dinner, although there's nothing wrong with having eggs for dinner. I've done this many times.
I
So
love
you can.
eggs sometimes.
Yes, and your fish and all of those things as well. And then your complex carbohydrates break down easily.
Yeah.
So they are the ones that are not heavy. So this is not like bread and like all the heavy fatty carbs. So this is the good stuff, the sweet potato, the rice, basmati rice, whatever types of rice you are having. Fruits as well. Some
leafy
vegetables
greens,
also have all of those as well in there. And then the healthy fats that, like we mentioned, is like the olive oils, the zucchini, the avocado, all of that. So looking at the portion size of all of this would roughly give you an estimate of the percentages of where you are at with this. And then there's also another example where you could use your hand actually for this. So your palm is your protein, and if you do a fist, this is the size of your carbs on your plate. This is the size of your fats. So that's a very tiny percentage of the fats that make up your plate, obviously. And if you are cooking in olive oil, that already makes up for the fats on your plate. You don't have to add extra. And then a chopped handful of, let's just pretend I have lettuce or something in my hand, of fruit or leafy greens as well. Okay. And then there's also eating for fat loss and eating for muscle gain, and how this kind of differs actually. So for fat loss, we'll keep the proteins high. Proteins are always high, depending obviously on your goal, but just as a whole, they are always high. The carbs we'll keep relatively low, obviously, like we're not going to have carbs in every single meal. For example, because carbs is our energy source, if you wake up and you're feeling a bit tired or you're feeling hungry, you'd probably have your carbs in the morning so that you can sustain throughout the day. And as the day goes on, the portion size of your carbs could get smaller. This is eating for fat loss. And then also you want to maximize on your volume of vegetables and then prioritize a low calorie density. So if you are using an app to calculate your macros just to see where you are at and what your mark should be for the day depending on your goal, then you can obviously put them all into the tracker to help you. Okay, so eating for muscle gain, you will put yourself in a little bit of a calorie surplus. A lot of people are familiar with being in a deficit, but being in a surplus can obviously also benefit you as well, which means that you are eating a little bit more, opposite of deficit, if you are working specifically with muscle gain. So all of these factors might increase a little bit more. So you'll have more carbs, for example, because your goal is not specifically fat loss. So you increase your carbs, which will obviously help you with your energy during your training to increase and aid for better performance, which is what you are wanting because you want to build muscle. And then healthy fats, adding into like your smoothies, protein, obviously, like we cannot stress the protein enough. The protein is always going to take up the most of your plate. So remember the palm, but in muscle gain a little bit more, obviously on the protein side. Remember that you are not only eating to achieve your goals, but you are also eating to aid your recovery, which is why I was saying in the beginning that it's very important to understand why you have specific foods on your plate. So speaking about the plates and like how to formulate them with fat loss and muscle loss, I don't know if you have ever followed in any one of these specifically. Is there a way that you could tell us what was on your plate?
I think the easiest way for me, a palm, making sure this is the size of my protein, these are my carbs, this is the size of my fats, and then I just try to eat as much fiber as possible. During my weight loss process, I always think about fiber after protein. Fiber's like right on top there for me, and I think it's such an underrated form of carbs that people just forget about. They don't see fiber as being important, but it's so important, especially for your gut microbiome. So yeah, I do follow the PAR model, and it's because I am one of those people that I'm too lazy too lazy to get a tracker out and track my food. Your palm is obviously something that you always have with you, and it's the easiest way that you can track, even when you are out or even when your phone dies or whatever the case may be. And it's something that you can always remember, so yeah, that's what I use.
And it's also convenient, like you said, because you have your hand with you, because I know that a lot of this, like tracking and downloading the app and weighing the food, which is why a lot of people don't generally gravitate towards eating well, because they look at it as a chore and this extra admin that they have to do, and it's going to be such a mission to do all of this, and then they just don't do it. But even if you don't track your calories, I don't track for this exact reason. It's a lot of admin to do. But because I am mindful of what is on my plate and I understand what I need to eat, and also understanding what your body needs, like you were saying, that fiber is very important for you and for your body, as it is for everybody, but you know this for your body. So I think understanding what you need is also important. Yeah. Another thing that people struggle with is when they go out to eat, because when somebody's on a diet, I don't really like the word diet, because
Me too.
It's a lifestyle. You're eating like this for longevity, to sustain for a long period of time. You want to be mindful of what you eat always. But I know that my online ladies, they are always like, oh, it's my friend's birthday this weekend, and I don't want to be that person to be like, I don't want to eat this and I don't want to eat that. But I'm like, the times have changed so much. Going to a restaurant, right?
That's so true. You can go to a restaurant and you can completely find entirely healthy meal. You can find in the side section, you can find like roasted veg, or in the main meals, you're most probably going to find some chicken or some form of protein, fish or meat. And then if you are going out and you work good, 80% of the time you ate well during the week, then please, when you're going out to dinner with your friends and you want to indulge in whatever you want to indulge in, then have that as well, because we are still wanting to enjoy the process and you're still wanting to enjoy life as well. It's not about whether you deserve also to be able to eat something, but if you feel that you want to have something, then please don't punish yourself and talk bad to yourself. I know the words that some people use when they speak to themselves, and it's not kind. You are not lazy, you are not fat or ugly or unworthy of having a pasta when you're going out to dinner instead of your chicken and your fish or your chicken and your veg. If you want to go out and have a pasta one night out of 5 nights of dieting, it's going to make absolutely no difference in the greater scheme of things. And that is all that you need to remember. focus on the big things. Focus on doing the small things a lot and really well. Then when you do have a pasta here, a piece of cake here, hot chocolate there, those things don't completely throw you off track, because once you have a better relationship with food as well, you won't feel like you have to deserve all of these things. You just have to understand that most of those things don't provide a high nutritional value for your body the way eating a balanced plate is going to provide a high nutritional value. That's all you need to understand, is that you are still a human being that wants to enjoy life, and that's okay.
It also just comes down to the balance and how important balance is also life. And we all love food. We all love to go out and have a good meal. But if you are, there's also the options, like Zoe was saying, on the menu. And I don't know if the restaurants, wherever you are in the world, actually have started including the amount of calories next to the meal. I've been to a couple of restaurants where I've been like, oh, this 1,000 something calories. I was like, my whole 2-3 meals for the day. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean this is 1,300 calories? And then when you are on the go, people struggle to get their meals in. So if you are somebody who is on the road and you know that your day is going to be busy and you can't exactly get into the kitchen to prepare your meal prepping is vital, and it is something that is going to help you in the long run, especially when you are busy. And doing things that are convenient, especially when you are snacking, like if you're getting in the car to go fetch your kids at school and you know you're going to be on the road for at least an hour and a half, for example, and it's smack bang in the middle of when you are going to feel hungry in the car, instead of stopping at the garage or petrol station to grab a packet of chips or whatever thing it is, you could pack your biltong in your bag, you could have your boiled eggs in the car, you could have hummus and your carrot sticks. There's a lot of options available. Again, it's just being mindful and prepared and to have a plan. Because your plan is your best friend in anything, in the gym and outside of the gym as well.
And especially in the beginning. In the beginning, the plan is going to save your ass so much, because in the beginning it's easy to fall back into old habits, you know. But if you have a plan and you are the type of person to stick to a plan, then the plan is really going to save you so much disappointment, so much feeling like you're on the hamster wheel, like you're starting at this point, then you're making some progress, and then you fall off, and then you feel like you're starting from the beginning all of the time. The plan can help take you to a point where you don't need the plan anymore, and ultimately that's where you want to be.
Yeah. And I know that it's very difficult when you are starting like a new plan. For example, you will fall off and then start again. I think a lot of people make the mistake of where they aim really high, and if they are somebody who drinks like 3 to 4 Coca-Colas a day, they always have a bag of chips at night and some sweets and whatever, and now they like, tomorrow I'm starting this plan and this plan includes none of that. You're just gonna go cold turkey. The chances are that you are not gonna make it. I don't want to be negative, I support you, but the chances are that you're not gonna last, because it's not something you can sustain for a very long time, because your body was so used to this excess amount of sugar and carbs and all of these things, and now you're just taking it away. You're gonna crash physically and mentally as well. So with your plan, if you have somebody who's guiding you, baby steps, slowly do an elimination diet, almost take out one thing at a time and replace it with something good. You never just take something out of your diet and you don't replace it with something else. So that's also something to remember.
And then obviously, if you are doing all of these things, let's say your goal is fat loss and you are increasing your protein, you increasing your fiber and your complex carbs, you making sure that your fats recommendations are within range, but you're still feeling like you aren't getting anywhere, then it's time to look at the smaller details. Maybe you are having between between 20 and 30 grams of protein, but you actually maybe need 40 grams. Maybe you are exercising in the range where you need maybe 40 grams instead of having between 20 and 30. And then maybe your meals throughout the day are so inconsistent that when you're getting to the evening, you're so over hungry that you just end up eating way more than what you should have been eating in that time because you maybe skipped. Another reason could be that you're adding too much sauces or oils or extra stuff, or you're drinking your calories. That's another thing that a lot of people do. They're having too much sugary drinks, too much juices, even a fruit juice. Like, fruit juices are nice, but they are packed with calories and not in a good way. Yes, if they are freshly squeezed, they're probably healthier than if you bought them in the store. But I would also just be wary of having a fruit juice. Everything that comes in a water or a liquid form is going to be extra calories. Even your Fantas, your Cokes. Just be mindful of all of those things. Once again, Donaé and I are not saying don't eat these foods. These foods should be demonized. These should be not in your menu. We are just trying to make sure that you understand that what is on your plate must match the desired outcome that you are wanting to go for.
And that's ultimately the message today, is what is on your plate matters. Keep your goal in mind. Eat with purpose. Understand what your body needs, what you are wanting for your body to do for you, and then eat accordingly, because food is fuel at the end of the day.
And keep things simple.
Yes.
Keep it so simple. I know that oats are so overrated, but it's simple. It's easy to make. It's not expensive to acquire for most people, and it fits perfectly into a high protein, well balanced diet. That's just one example. Eggs as well, great source of protein. You can have between 2 and 3 eggs in the meal if you really wanted to have a high protein meal. But then when you are frying that egg, make sure that the oil that you're adding with is not like a whole pan of oil. So it's all of those things that we are trying to suggest to you. Think about what you're doing and do it with purpose, do it with intent.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're thinking about starting a diet, if you're currently on a diet, if you're currently making any changes to your food or your meals, please let us know in the comments down below. We are always really intrigued to know what other people are doing. If maybe there's something that we need to know about, if we maybe not in the loop with all the latest, So hang out with us in the comments down below and we'll definitely get back to you and check that out. And if you loved this episode, we have so much more. Stay tuned to the end. And if you enjoyed this episode, you can find more like it in our Giggles and Glutes playlist right here on YouTube. And don't forget, we are doing that live stream class the last Saturday of August, and we're hoping to see each and every one of you. Oh, sorry. We are doing a live stream. I just said at the end of August, but I meant April. We are doing a live stream class at the end of April, and we are hoping to see each and every one of you there. Stay tuned and see you next time. Bye.